All right, the cold weather didn't seem to stop protesters from swarming a Minnesota hotel overnight, which they believe is housing ICE agents. This is still going on.
It all comes as a Minnesota judge holds a hearing today after ordering DHS to preserve all evidence from this weekend shooting. Madeline Rivera live from Washington with the details. Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. This has become a familiar scene in Minnesota. Protesters gathering at hotels where they believe federal agents are staying, clashing with them and making any noise they can by banging drums or blowing whistles. In one instance, protesters attempted to push their way through a blockade that agents tried to form near a hotel's front door. The anger in the state has intensified after the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says her agency is leading the probe, but state officials say they want to do an investigation as well, and they've secured a temporary restraining order blocking federal officials from destroying evidence. Minnesota leaders accuse federal authorities of blocking their access to the crime scene.
I don't care if you're conservative, liberal, or whatever, but you should at least be in favor of conserving evidence in a homicide. And to have to go get an order from a judge to preserve that evidence is extraordinary and should alarm everyone who believes in equal justice under the law.
DHS says Preddy tried to obstruct an active law enforcement operation, and Noem says the agent who fired his weapon was afraid for his life. Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino says agents are operating under stressful circumstances.
Let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
But as the protests rage, several federal sources tell our Bill Malugin they're frustrated with some of the narratives and claims from DHS, and they say they support the mass deportation agenda from the Trump administration, but they have concerns about the way it's being carried out. President Trump telling the Wall Street Journal his administration is reviewing everything about the incident. Carly and Todd.
Madeline Rivera, thank you. With that, let's bring in former DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary Jonathan Fahey. And Jonathan, I'm confused because I went to law school, and albeit I haven't practiced in a number of years, but you saw Keith Ellison, the Attorney General of Minnesota, there saying it is uproarious that we need to go to court to get the DHS and ICE to preserve this evidence in this case. Is that hearing and that action by the AG there even necessary, or is this all political grandstanding from AG Ellison, from the Minnesota judge who is going to hold today's hearing? Because evidence in a case like this is going to be preserved anyway.
You're exactly right. And what he's doing is abusing the court system as another way to defame ICE, to defame law enforcement, to defame the Trump administration. It's totally inappropriate. But remember, just last week, Keith Ellison, when talking about the FACE Act, didn't even understand what it was and had clearly never read it, but he's willing to go out on TV and talk about all these issues. But it's clearly a political stunt. What's going to happen is the federal government's going to investigate this case. The evidence will be preserved. If the state wants to do a parallel investigation, they can have at it, do whatever they want, but they're not entitled to be a part of the federal investigation. And ultimately, as we've talked about before, the state, if they try to charge these officers or this officer, they're going to ultimately fail in federal court because it will get removed to federal court and dismissed under the supremacy clause, under what's called supremacy clause or federal officer immunity, which has been precedent from the Supreme Court since 1890. So all he's doing is trying to continue to stir things up. It would be so nice if he, Waltz, Fry would at some point take a level of maturity, because it's their state that they should be trying to protect, and instead it's constant political theater and always racing to the bottom with him and those other two.
Yeah, just to sum it up for the audience, you can't bring this suit. You can't bring these charges if you're the state. This is complete grandstanding, and they're just doing it to try to sway public opinion in their favor. And they shouldn't be doing that, because as an AG, you're an officer of the court. You should be respectful of the law and the law that exists, and you can't make it up. It's very, very concerning. I do want to talk about this, though, Jonathan. Fox News congressional correspondent Bill Malugin reporting that, quote, there is extreme frustration with DHS officials going out on TV and putting out statements claiming that Alex Preddy was intending to conduct a massacre of federal agents or wanted to carry out maximum damage, even after numerous videos appear to show those claims were inaccurate. And look, admittedly, the video of the shooting is tough to watch. President Trump came out and said as much over the weekend. If you were running this investigation, Jonathan, what questions would you be asking to bring down the temperature to your earlier answer?
Well, the most important thing to find out is what exactly happened, or as close as you could get to what exactly happened, and what was the perception of these agents. Did they have a reasonable fear that they were in danger of their lives? We do know Alex Preddy was engaged in committing a felony. We do know that. We do know he had a gun. And I believe we do know that the agents were aware that there was a gun there too. Beyond that, I think you want to find out what's going on. But the most important thing, which we've seen too many times with these, a narrative takes off, and it's the wrong narrative, and it's usually the narrative that's anti-law enforcement. I always go back to Michael Brown from, what was that, 2015 or so, that the narrative of hands up, don't shoot took a life of its own, even though the Holder DOJ determined it was totally false. So the one reason DHS, I think, is getting in front of these things is to prevent a false narrative from taking over. But one thing we do know in any of these, even when everyone's acting in good faith, the initial story typically evolves to something a little bit different. And that's normal, not just in criminal cases, but in life and news in general. But I do think the most important thing is, let's find out what happened, do a very good investigation. The FBI will do a phenomenal investigation and put it out there for the public to see what they did, what they looked at, who they interviewed. And I think that will do a lot. It won't appease the left. No matter what happens, Keith Ellison and his crowd, we all know what they want, which is mass amnesty for everyone here. So they're going to fight this no matter what. But I think the public has an interest in knowing, and it'll be quite helpful.
Jonathan Fahey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.